Kesh Parik, and I am present with another video on postmodernism. As you all have seen that we have got many questions on postmodernist writers. As such, we don't get question on postmodernism as a philosophy more, but here and there you can find that questions are strewn around in the paper regarding the writers, particularly the fiction writers who are following the basic tenets of postmodernism. First of all, let me clear that postmodernism is not like anything which happened after something, though very commonly it is considered that after 1960 this movement begins. But even people may question me when I say that it is a movement, because as such it does not have a particular clear-cut definition, and different philosophers disagree on the basic tenets of this philosophy. But yeah, we don't deny that this is a philosophy, and it emerged out of the disbelief, or say the loss of faith, writers and philosophers gathered after world wars. So the first of all, let me clear that postmodern does not mean exactly the modernism after modernism of the first half of the 20th century, because if you read it in depth, you will find that the philosophers of like philosophers of post-structuralism, they are also termed as postmodernists. The philosophers who consider that the philosophies of 17th and the 18th centuries, which paved the way for modernism in the Western philosophy, they are almost against the findings of these philosophies. So this is all about the definition of postmodernism. Like, what is postmodernism? Postmodernism is loss of faith in certain findings of modernist philosophies of 17th and 18th century, number one. Number two, it has three different periods, or say forms. Number one, postmodern philosophy talks about the findings and the understandings of the writers after 1960s, first thing. Second thing is the theoretical postmodernism, which developed by the theories of the thinkers like Ronald Barthes, Jacques Derrida, and Michel Foucault, and all the other post-structuralist writers. Third thing is the cultural postmodernism, which is more important for us, for the students of English literature. The cultural postmodernism includes films, literature, and visual arts. Now, students of English literature, when they feel that how to understand a part of literature or any novel, that it is or it belongs to postmodernism, so they have to find certain basic postulations in them, and I have collected 6 or 7 postulations, some major views of postmodern writers. Number one, sorry, there was a disturbance. So the major views of postmodernist writers are that there is no objective reality. So you must have seen that reality is considered to be like a human mind understands. There is a cognition, and we perceive something, we understand something. That was, the findings of the philosophy of 17th and the 18th centuries. But these postmodernists believe that as such we don't understand anything, and human perception is nothing, because it is sponsored, it is given. We are made to think, the way we think. So for example, suppose I try to explain this point, like, why reality is not the objective reality. Because we are human beings, and we look at the things from our own perceptions. It means anything which you consider that, through your science and through your technology, uh, and by your reason, by your logic, you want to tell people that, this is reality. So these postmodernist writers say that, because it is a formulated, fabricated reality, which has been fabricated with the use of language, in which in itself is not anything. Because post-structuralist writers, Derrida particularly, has said that language has no language does not give us any meaning, because meaning is not there. Because there is a difference between, there is an arbitrary relationship between the signifier and the signifiant, that we all understand in structuralism and post-structuralism. And so we cannot precisely say that meaning lies there. When meaning does not lie there, then how can you say that certain things are firmly what they are? So, first of all, they put a question mark on this. Second thing is that there is no scientific or historical truth, because history is a palimpsest, as I think George Orwell has said. It means we keep rewriting, things from our own perceptions. So, as such, there is no historical truth. Third thing is, science and technologies are not vehicles of human progress. If science and technology claim that, they have made us a progressed human being, then why for these world wars have destructed the world? It means they show their lack of faith in science and technology, these postmodernist writers. uh, Apart from that, the fourth point is that there is no such thing as human nature. There is no such thing as human psychology, and there is no such thing as human behavior, because all these things are product of certain other things, the factors on us. I would like to make you aware about the discoveries. Should I use the word discovery, or say the book by Darwin, where he says that how we progressed, how the evolution occurred. And so that thing, by that thing was discussed by the writers, or the technique they used in novels by discussing this theory is called naturalism. It means we are products of our heredity. We are products of the way we think. Is It all depends upon our social circumstances. So we cannot say that, there is a particular human behavior. So we can say that, these postmodernist writers also discuss identity and the fixity of identity. They say that there is no such a fixed thing like human identity, human psychology, human behavior. And the fifth thing is that language is invalid. I already have said that language as such is an arbitrary relationship between signifier and signified, as Derrida has said, as Saussure has said. So how can language how can we rely on language? Language can be different. Language can have a different meaning in different contexts. So we cannot say that language is precisely solving the problems of human beings. And the sixth point is that there is no certain knowledge. Knowledge is all discursive. Knowledge is problematic. Knowledge, what we call knowledge, may be, just accumulation of information. So they also have some doubts on, the human concept of knowledge. And everything is metanarrative. They say everything is illegitimate and everything is metanarrative. Now this is about the certain points, which can make us understand what postmodernism is. Now let me come to the list of the writers and their novels which are important from net point of view. The first one is Thomas Mann. You must have seen, I have seen questions, two times questions have occurred in net exam from his short story Death in Venice. Second is Umberto Eco. Friends, this is very important name, and I have started seeing in one or the other net, questions from his novels. So his work is The Name of the Rose, and another important work by Umberto Eco is Foucault's Pendulum. Third important writer is John Fowle. John Fowles, the French lieutenant's woman, is an important work. They have already asked twice the question from this novel. And another work by the same writer, John Fowle, is the maggot, the magus. Sorry, the magus. Another one is Salman Rushdie's book Midnight's Children. That is a very important book, and I will make a separate video on that book. And Salman Rushdie's another collection, Haroun and the Sea of Stories, is also important from postmodern point of view. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is another big name in postmodernist fiction writers. His work 100 Years of Solitude is very famous. Joseph Heller's book Catch 22, again a very famous book. Jack Kerouac's On the Road, they have given us question last year on this writer. Gunter Grass, the Nobel Prize winner writer, his work The Tin Drum is a novel. It's a trilogy actually, so you just go and just read about it. Tin Drum. Anthony Burgess, a very important novel, A Clockwork Orange. They have given us questions twice or thrice on this book in net exam. Jean Rhys, it's a famous book, White Sargasso Sea, which is a prequel of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is again, a book very famous from feminist point of view also, and postmodernist point of view also. Iris Murdoch's novel Black Prince is again very significant, where she has created, I think, 3 or 4 narrators. She has written, I think, 2 or 3 prologues, in that novel, and she's considered to be an existentialist writer also. John Fowles, Magus, I already have talked about, and Kingsley Amis, his famous novel The Alteration. Angela Carter, The Magic Toy Shop, is already famous for magic realism and feminism, but I have come up with another novel of Angela Carter from postmodernist point of view, and that is Nights at the Circus. This novel is also famous. And Orhan Pamuk, you must have heard the name of Orhan Pamuk. His 2 books, The Black Book and The Name is Red. My Name is Red. My Name is Red is again very famous. And another book is by Margaret Atwood, The Blind Assassin. Friends, if you are really eager to clear your JRF, you should not miss this lecture, and you should start reading these books. If books are not available, start reading summaries from here and there from internet, and reread them. Read them thrice, 4 times. I have my personal experience that if you read certain things 4 times, then I think you will be able to, because out of thousands of books and thousands of philosophies, thousands of literary terms, it is very tough for us to retain in our mind, the names of the characters, the situations, and I have made this video because this philosophical movement, I'm using the word movement now because many writers are talking about it, is very famous from net point of view also, and I think it can make us aware about the modern literary practices around us. That is for today. That's it for today. Thank you very much.